Isn't it crazy how things come to you exactly when you need it? I feel like today is the day that I want to dive into why relationships are the way they are, why some souls go through other journeys or confusing journeys to what you're doing. And I have Laura Mazzotta here with me today. Hi, Laura.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, I'm so excited you're on the Together We Seek podcast. I'm ready for this conversation in more ways than one. So, you've been a therapist for 22 years, and now you integrate Akashic Records and other spiritual tools to really get to the depths of the soul.
hmm
So, tell me a little bit about, we're going to talk about quantum healing, but tell me a little bit about why you decided to do that.
Why I decided to do quantum healing?
Hmm.
It was presented to me in so many ways by life, by spirit. I've been a therapist for almost 25 years and I got really sick about 8 years ago. I had sepsis and I almost didn't make it. I couldn't walk for a few years and I went through a lot of every medical test you can imagine under the sun. And when I was told that I needed to apply for disability and I was going to continue going downhill, I just said, yeah, no. And I'd always been such a type A people pleaser. And I was like, absolutely not. Something in me said, that is not my future. And so I started looking into alternative ways to heal. I became a Reiki master teacher, which I always say Reiki is the gateway drug to spiritual work because it just feels so good and it's so deeply loving and it offers you something at a depth that you've never felt before. And I ended up finding the Akashic Records. They kept coming into my life. And I resisted it because I thought it was just another shiny object in the spiritual world that people were slapping a name on. And when I ended up saying, fine, I'll do this, it was wild. I would enter the records and have no physical symptoms at all. And then I would close the records and be super energized. And it became my medicine. Like if I didn't take my medicine, like go into the Akash every day, I could feel it. I wasn't feeling well. And my husband was like, I have no idea what you're doing, but you are so much better. Just keep doing it. So I did. And I started to then get to the point where I didn't believe in mental health diagnostics anymore. And everything that was coming out of my mouth in sessions with clients was energetic or spiritual in nature because I knew that those were the true building blocks and the true root cause, the true root of anything that happens here in the 3D, whether it's in our bodies, whether it's in our environments. And so I made a point to close my traditional therapy practice and just start screaming from the rooftops that we get to know each other so much deeper than what we're taught in the medical or mental health worlds.
So many questions I want to ask you. I don't even know where to start, but oh my goodness. So when you say that the Akashic Records kept presenting themselves, what was like the compelling event that made you dive into them and start opening your own records?
I just wasn't getting better. I mean, I was getting a little bit better, but I wasn't getting as better as I wanted to. And I knew there was something deeper there. And I just kept getting all these signs. Like the Akashic Records would just pop up in conversations and I would see them online or, a book would cross my path. And I'm like, okay, all right, all right. And I honestly, to be perfectly honest, I was kind of desperate. I was kind of desperate to feel better and just be done with like all the shenanigans of all these other things I was trying that were helping some, but weren't really like getting to the root and having lasting healing. I was sick of Band-Aid approaches. And I had seen this for years as a therapist as well, the Band-Aid approaches in the mental health field. And it pissed me off. It pissed me off. So I was like, you know what? Fine. I'm going to explore this. And I'm so glad I did because it got me to a depth that I was not able to explore with just the mind. It got me to a relationship with my body that really was very immersive and experiential rather than just an understanding.
Mm, wow, that is so powerful. And so when you add the Akashic Records, which I often call, and you can correct me, but I call it the encyclopedia of your soul,
Mhm.
where you've been, what you're doing, why you're here, where you're going. Um, would you describe it another way?
I would. And when I first started working with the Akashic Records, I described it that way. I called it a library in the clouds. And I think a lot of people envision it that way, where you can kind of open the book of your soul and answer all of its questions from past life and to current life to future lives. But really, what I look at it as is a relationship. And I look at it as a relationship that is vibrational in nature, meaning that my energy is connecting with its frequency and we're coming into attunement. And the more consistently we do that, the more we really feel like we are merged as one. And just like the earth is a tether for our bodies, where we feel anchored here by gravity. And so we feel held safely on this plane so that we can explore the spiritual world or anything else for that matter. I see the Akashic Records as that tether point for our soul. So that when we go up there and we feel attuned, our souls feel like I'm home. I'm here with all like my loved ones, guides, angels, ascended masters that are part of my path that desire to be here with me. And since I'm so tethered beautifully here, I can explore the cosmos and the quantum so much wider than if I were not anchored in the Akashic Records.
That feels so good. I love that. I love that expansion, but also the grounding aspect of it. So when you think about the work you're doing now, how do you move from Akashic to quantum? Like, what is that leap, or is that an encompassing term, or what does that mean in
I mean,
quantum?
it's kind of an encompassing term. I think that people can get really caught up in the semantics of it, but we all have to remember that the name Akashic Records was coined by human beings, right? Like we came up with names for spiritual frequencies, dimensions, entities, because we tried to come into conscious understanding of them. At the end of the day, it's all the same energy, right? And so when you go into the Akashic Records, that's the exact reason I like it. Like you said, it's grounding. I feel like it's this beautiful balance of anchoring, grounding, holding, and guiding, while it's also very like open and flowy. So you kind of get both of those, which is really, really helpful for the human as this bridge into the quantum, because the quantum is just wide open space. You know, you can imagine it as just the dark sky with stars. Like it's wide open space. And some people get really scared of navigating that. And the nervous system itself is a 3D entity. It's a 3D concept. And so it is going to have a response when you open up into completely infinite space and just kind of fly free and let whatever comes to you come to you. So it's very, very efficient and effective for our spiritual expansion to do this in the records, because we are humans, and this part of our soul, part of our spirit that's connected to the human feels really, really anchored and settled, so that we can explore even bigger and feel like we're not going to like fly off and have no idea where we're going or what we're getting ourselves into.
That is so helpful because it shows like the connectivity, the bridge, the anchor point. I love that. So how do you use it? Do you still have a therapy practice? How do you use this with your current clients? Do you ask for permission? Does it all just happen all at once?
So I have a handful of therapy clients that I still see, because I closed my traditional practice in 2020. I have a handful of clients that I still see in traditional therapy, but they know my deal. Like they know how I operate, and we've been in relationship for a very long time. And so, yes, I would always, even as I was starting to integrate this before I closed my traditional practice, I would ask permission if they would be comfortable with me accessing this. Some of them would request it from me and ask me to go there with them. But when I do my work with anyone one-on-one at this point, I'm always in the space of the Akash. I'm always in the space of the Akash. So that's just like, if you want to work with me, you got to understand that I'm going to bring through intuitive information. I'm going to be channeling your soul. I'm going to be connecting to that energy. And that's something obviously that I discuss with anybody who signs up with me.
So beautiful. So, I hear a lot about how, well, there's so many things I want to discuss with you, because I feel like, all of us, most of us have been in some form of therapy. Sometimes you're in therapy with other people. And I love sort of the description that we added is, therapy, sometimes you're just running around the same issue, and you might have peaks and valleys where it's good and bad. But how do you think this type of work shifts the soul work you're doing, or shifts the inside work you're doing? Because I feel like therapy is mildly helpful, where I feel like some of these practices can really get to the root of it. So what do you think is happening there?
This is what I love about it so much, because I've always been a very direct practitioner, even as a traditional therapist, because I do believe that most people end up in therapy because of all the beating around the bush that's been happening, like either with themselves or in their relationships or in their lives. And so it's about, listen, like, let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Like, let's not avoid it and dance around it anymore. And that's what I like about the Akashic Records. And this is why a lot of people shy away from it and they hesitate to dive into it, because it is direct. Like, it will cut to the core immediately. And so it accelerates healing. And what I love about it is that if somebody's coming to me, I can feel right away, exactly what is either in their way or what they're being invited into. But it's always from this really, really loving space. So it's direct, but loving. And what I love about it is that there's no dissonance that happens between the client and the practitioner, because this is really like, I'm just the liaison. This is really between the person's soul and themselves. It's like they're having a conversation directly with their soul. And so they're getting this depth of wisdom that's showing them the purpose of why these events in life or these experiences that you're having inside your body or your mind were designed, right? Like, these were designed intentionally for your highest and best, for your highest unfolding. And so it's getting an understanding of that and kind of getting into a relationship with your soul and really helping people learn how to communicate directly themselves, so they don't need me. They can have this conversation themselves and tap into their soul anytime they want, and get the answers they need, or just get the momentum forward that they need. Does that answer your question?
It does. It's perfect. It's insightful, because a lot of people, I think, are trying to get to that next level of self-awareness, or even more importantly, that next level of self-love. And I think a lot of people have hurdles that have started early in their childhood, or even other lifetimes. So would you say that's a common thread of people you see, or what do you think most people are coming to you for?
I do think it's a common thread. I also think that a lot of the reason that people end up with me is because they've done a ton of work, and it's not about doing the healing work anymore. It's not about diving back into your childhood. It's not about diving back into your trauma. It's about recognizing and appreciating the events that have happened, allowing whatever invitation is coming through those to move you forward, so that you can actualize the strength that is inherently within you. That, number one, got you through whatever you've gotten through, but also helps you realize, you know what? I'm here to be a voice for this with other people, or I'm here to embody this differently, because I think a lot of people think I need to go back and heal all the things and sit with the trauma. And there is a place for that. There's definitely a place for that. But when people come to me, it's typically about, like, let's talk about all of these aspects of self and these experiences that have happened in your life, and recognize that they're all just energy, right? Let's detach the narratives from them, detach the faces, the names, the context, we decouple all of that, which really decharges the trauma, right? It decharges it, because the charge of a trauma is the combination of that memory that's held in the mind and body with the emotional experience that happened at the time. So if we can decouple those and really work with the energy as it's coming forward, and I show people how to do that, then we feel a lot lighter, and the body softens, and it's so much more open to releasing those subconscious narratives that we get so resistant to releasing. And we feel, most importantly, we palpably feel the essence of who we are, without all of this conditioning and stories and experiences that muddy the waters.
It sounds magical to me. And I think that people, when you get sick of being sick and tired of something, or you're in a situation and you can't solve it, like, why not go to these other dimensional connections that allow you to sort of break things down in a way that allows you to have a more illuminated life?
Exactly. Because, when I was healing, I was working with naturopaths and functional medicine doctors, and I mean, every practitioner under the sun. And there's a place for them. There really is. But I can say that no matter how much those things help me, there's nothing that's helped me more. And what I've witnessed in my clients who were spinning for years in the mental health system, different modalities, different programs, different practitioners, and just not getting better. And then when we access this new pocket of themselves, which is still a layer, an aspect of self that hasn't been attended to, and we gather wisdom from that, and we bring that online, and we let them feel into themselves. It's just amazing how they say, I feel like I've never seen myself before. And now I finally see myself. And it's so beautiful to witness that awakening to the recognition of what you already are.
So the quantum healing is allowing you to heal with other aspects of you that may not be like right here, right now. Would you say that they're kind of other dimensions or other experiences?
So yes, it's going to be aspects of self, aspects of your own energy that honestly are already healed, or already online, or already fully moving, that you just don't have recognition of yet, or don't yet feel palpably in your body through emotional or physical sensation. So yes, and when we access the quantum, we're also coming into a co-creative space. So when we soften the body in this process, any kind of energy work or meditative work is going to soften the body more and bring you into a more receptive state. You also are going to be magnetizing those energies that exist in the quantum that are currently circling one another, magnetizing each other, creating new designs, creating new patterns. And when those designs and patterns match or magnetize or come into resonance with something going on within you, there's new opportunity. There's a new sensation of being, a new level of energy and clarity that can come into the body.
That makes sense. And it sounds absolutely lovely. So do the people that are meeting you, do they have to believe in all this?
They don't. I know I was skeptical when I first started. I find that they progress faster when they have more of a belief, of course. But my goodness, I have worked with people who are just like resistant as they come, right? Just in their minds, like, yeah, I don't know. And it is wild because there's still something that's drawing them to it, right? So it's like, if you're drawn to it, but you don't yet fully believe in it, I'm good with that, because you're still following through with a nudge that you might not totally get, and you might even be kind of cranky about, and you want to fight with me about. I'm like, totally fine. Let's bring it to the table and let all of you be seen. I want all of you right here now, because if you're in front of me and you've booked a session with me, there is something within you that does understand this. There's something within you that does believe in this, or you would not be here right now.
And how often do your clients, once they start shifting in this way, their outside shifts?
Oh my gosh, all the time. All the time. I mean, whether we're talking about their relationships, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful to see how much relationships shift and open. Abundance comes forward for them. Their health improves. Their self-confidence is beautifully anchored. Their cognitive clarity, like there's so much, like, and they just feel calmer, more present, more available for their lives.
And who doesn't want that? I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Wow. So tell us a little bit how people work with you and what you have on the horizon.
Sure. So right now, one of the most exciting things that I have coming up is my Kauai retreat. So that's happening in Kauai, Hawaii, in October of 2026. So, but that's also something that I understand, if you don't know me well, you might not want to jump into right away. So I think that a really great place to start would be the Self-Trust Challenge, which is a digital course that I have on my site. It's a great way to start working with this energy, because it really attends to what's going on in your human, your subconscious mind, your nervous system, as well as expanding you into consciousness, feeling into your own energy, coming into relationship with your higher self and the quantum. And it takes you through the whole process. It's a really, really beautiful process that serves as a gateway, that if you want to go further, we can do that. I have a one-on-one program we can work together in, or I also have a mastermind for spiritual entrepreneurs.
Wow. Both awesome options. The digital course, does that help people who take it get into the records themselves?
Yes. So there's so many different ways to enter the Akashic Records. I actually have a YouTube video that tells you what the records are, how they operate, and it takes you into the records and teaches you how to start bringing through messages. So that YouTube video is honestly, people use it over and over and over again. They love it. So I would say start there and play with that. And then once you come into my programs, you're going to realize that I open the records however I'm intuitively guided to open the records. So when you practice it on your own, you can get accustomed to that. And then once you know what it feels like to be in the Akash, you can open them yourself. Everybody can. You'll find your own way.
Well, I'm going to get started today. I've done some Akashic Records things with different courses, but I'm going to go to the YouTube video now and start to work on that. Sign up for your digital course, work through that myself. And I'd like to get other people in my life involved too. And so I'm going to do it myself first and then encourage them to do the same.
Thank you. I so appreciate it. And I'm grateful because this world needs more of this work, right?
It's amazing. And I feel like the idea, so many of us who've tried therapy or done other things recognize that you can only get so far, or you end up drudging up so much stuff that you're not productive. And I feel like there are alternative ways to move through the energy that's no longer serving you. And this quantum healing with the Akashic Records is magical. And I'm so glad you broke it down for us, because I think so many people will be more open to trying it out at their own pace and then joining you in Kauai or on their one-on-one sessions.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Laura, this was so nice. We have all your links below. I'll go out and get the YouTube link as well. And I really just hope you'll continue to join us. And I would love to go on one of your retreats. So hopefully I'll see many of the listeners there.
Thanks so much. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you so much. And thanks everyone for listening. These are always so informative. I feel so lucky to have so many beautiful practitioners share their story, their crossroads, and the gifts that were brought forward within them. And Laura's gifts are so magical and ones that you can start using today. So thank you for listening, and we'll see you again here next time.